I'm very particularly proud of the leadership team that we've assembled. That was one of the things when Secretary Bransell came as part of it and wanted to be able to assemble his own team of division administrators. Knowing what we were going to have to go through a little bit, he wanted to put his team together, a group that would work together. And I'm very proud and was part of obviously interviewing all those people and proud of the team we got. And I want to introduce them here in a little bit. But one thing I want to tell you is that they come to work every day with a common goal to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of their own division and working with staff. And we're trying to get there by utilizing their experience of our staff and the experience we have. We have a lot of good people, and it's up to us as leaders and the leadership team within the department to really work with them, to empower them and make them a part of our decision-making process and utilizing their experience that they have. The other big thing that I've seen and I've learned is we have a lot of issues that cross division boundaries. Something may happen in the arm division that will affect food safety, but we need to let consumer protection know, and it wouldn't be hurt if we let Dr. Bob know in animal health, because all of us may have to take, it might be something that we have to address. Now I'll tell you that most of our divisions go quietly about their business, and I think maybe they like it that way, but it's animal health and arm and food safety. They're going about their business, working with those permit holders and license holders. Probably the only exceptions would be trade and consumer protection and maybe our ag development division. At this time, Sandy Chalmers, if you'd please stand. Sandy, I know she's here because I walked in with her. Sandy. She's the administrator for our trade and consumer protection. She's one of our faces and voices for the department. Now, if you haven't heard her on the radio or seen her on TV in the past year, I will tell you right now, you are not paying attention. Who has not heard Sandy talk about consumer complaints or no call or privacy? Anybody? Sandy, you're doing your job. They've all heard you. So, but what her division is, clap for Sandy, you got it. Because one of the things you need to know, well, not all the legislators you're going to go see, have a real heartfelt for agriculture. They do all know about consumer protection. They know about complaints. They have constituents that have issues with businesses. And under Sandy's division, that's our weights and measures. That's making sure when you buy a gallon of gas, you get a gallon of gas. Those kinds of things. The scales at the grocery stores. Those kinds of things. That's ag producer security. That's ensuring fair business practices between two businesses or between businesses and consumers. Just to let you know, in her staff, Sandy and her staff recorded 10,220, just came out in release, new formal written consumer complaints. 10,000, that's just formal ones. That doesn't include all the phone calls, all the website, all the various emails, that kind of thing. But this is all just formal complaints that she and her staff have to deal with on consumer protection issues. Where's Mike Powers? I think I saw Mike. There's Mike. Mike is the administrator for our Ag Development Division, which works to improve Wisconsin ag and commerce. He's another one of the faces with his team. That'll be a lot of the grant programs, a lot of the services. That's our business planning. That's our international trade team that you hear about. And that's a group of about 5 people that work with medium and small size ag businesses to try to improve exports. That's also the Buy Local, Buy Wisconsin. Like as I said, business planning, Savor Wisconsin is something special. So all those kind of programs and all those services come under Mike's supervision. And Mike has been particularly challenged when I mentioned the budget kinds of things, because his division's hit particularly hard because a lot of those federal dollars we lost, federal dollars go to his division. John Petty's here. I know John's right here in front. John is our administrator for our Ag Resource Management Division. He's responsible for our services and regulations pertaining to the efficient use of ag resources. That's my speech talk, and then I put my parentheses, that's manure. That's all our manure issues and all those kinds of things. John was, yeah, John and I were meeting this morning, because I would tell you that in addition to working on all those issues like ATCP 50 and livestock siding, those kinds of things which are in his division, he's also responsible for issues with plant health, animal feed, seeds, and pesticides. All those issues fall under John's watch and are his responsibility. And the work in his division is probably the most visible to most of you when you're reading the newsletters and seeing things that come from the group that you belong to. I would tell you too that John, with his background in the private sector prior to coming, was very up to speed because he's worked in all those areas prior. So there was no real learning curve for John on those issues, and it's been very beneficial having him leading that division. Steve Ingham. Steve here? Steve's over here on this side of the room. This is great. Steve was the administrator for food safety and expressed an interest and wanted to come back. And if you're a non-science person like me, it is absolutely great to have somebody like Dr. Steve Ingham at the university, a food scientist. He uses awfully big words, but he knows enough to dumb them down for me. But it's great to have him working on our food safety division. Now you need to know, on the food safety division too, that's everything from farm inspections, what I would say from the farm to the fork. That's regulating dairy processing businesses, or all food processing business, canning companies, all those kinds of things. You can do some restaurants, grocery stores, all those kinds of things fall under Steve's watch. And pulling my comments together, I would say one of Steve's biggest challenges is he'd like to do a few other things. Let's make some changes here to help businesses out with inspections or doing these kinds of things. And a lot of times he has the federal government stand in his way. But we try to work around that. And a lot of the other work that Steve does within his agency, you hear about the inspections, but it's also when a food processing company wants to put some new equipment in, it's his staff that go out and work with those people to make sure they're putting the right equipment in so they're doing the right thing so we don't have the problems later on. And you all know the importance of food safety and how it can affect you as farmers if there's food scares and those kinds of things. Dr. Bob Eilenfeld, he could not be here, as I mentioned. He's meeting with deer farmers. Right now we've got a rule coming up and they wanted to meet. But every day I learn more about the importance of our animal health division. And just think, all the livestock that moves in this state or across state lines or internationally every day. And if there's a disruption of that movement, what that means to the bottom line of a lot of farmers, income, and just what it would mean to our entire ag economy. While not an administrator, Jim Dick. Jim, if you please stand. Jim is our Chief Public Information Officer. He's been busy getting DATCP up to speed in the world of social media and coordinating our public relation efforts. And I've been a big help to him on the social media. I can say Twitter, I can say Facebook. I don't know what they are, but I do know what they are because we're all up to speed on it. In fact, did any of you follow Secretary Bransell's trip to Vietnam? Oh, we got to do a little better, Jim. We'll get them there. But we just got started with it, but that's what we worked on, trying to make sure that we could do a few things and try to connect with all of you, because obviously, as I mentioned, we have to keep pace to make sure that our message at DATCP is getting out to you. And while getting it out to, let's see, I'll pick on a good friend of mine. Getting the message to Carl Casper one way, maybe one thing, but everybody in the Blue Jackets here, it needs to be a different way because they're going to get their information another way. And we need to make sure within DATCP we're getting that information out and getting our message out there, and he's doing a great job with that. Prior to Jim's arrival, there was nobody in that position for nearly 2 years as a Chief Public Information Officer. So he's done a great job of working with our staff Public Information Office to make sure we have a coordinated effort, public relations and media effort to get our message out and talk about what we're doing. And with him today is Ashley Hibbert. Ashley is one of our chief PIOs, or one of our PIOs as well. Bob Battaglia. Bob's in the back. Bob is the director of Wisconsin Ag Statistics Service, and Bob, I appreciate you being here as well. Not only are we looking internally within our agency, but I want to tell you too, we've really been working hard to build our relationship with other agencies like Department of Transportation, DNR, Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, the Department of Commerce, Department of Revenue, and those building of relationships really has not been just one way where we reach out as DATCP to talk to them. It's gone both ways. I was just, like I said, I was just at the county session and on a panel with Secretary Stepp. And we have regular meetings between Secretary Bransell, Sue Baroque, and myself with the leadership team. In fact, we have a meeting next week where they'll have their list of issues, we have our list of issues, and try to solve problems of mutual interest and concern within the DNR and DATCP, because there is so much crossover that we have there. In closing, I'd just like to say we're making the necessary changes at DATCP to streamline and improve our services, to be more effective and efficient for the citizens of the state of Wisconsin. That's what you've asked and demanded, and that's what we're going to try to do. I would just say, too, that it was an honor to be asked by Secretary Bransel to serve as his deputy. And I think all of you that know him know that his leadership and management style is very inclusive, and which I believe is enabling our staff at the Department of Agriculture to excel in their position to meet your needs. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to visit with you today. Have a great day over at the Capitol, and remind them of everything that's important to you, and remind them of the importance of production agriculture in the state of Wisconsin. Thank you very much.